This video is going to be the ultimate free-to-play guide for Clash Royale. I've been primarily a free-to-play player in Clash Royale for almost 2 years now, and it's safe to say that there are a lot of things that I have learned. So in this video, I wanted to break down a lot of the things that I've learned, and then also give you some tips so that way you can maximize your progression. Even if you're not 100% free-to-play, this video will still be beneficial to you because I'm going to be giving advice that can be really used for any players as well. So without further ado, let's start with tip number 1. You need to focus on one deck. And to go along with that in terms of tower troops, you should pretty much only focus on your princess tower as well. Now, the reason I say focus on one deck is solely because of card levels. Unfortunately, Clash Royale progression is pretty unforgiving and it can be pretty hard to level up cards sometimes. So with this being the case, it's best that you focus on 8 cards that you want to upgrade throughout your journey. Now, it's okay if you swap out a card here and there and make adjustments based on the meta and whatever, but in general, the core fundamental pieces of your deck should be the exact same pretty much throughout. And then once you level up that deck enough, then you can focus on other cards for your clan war decks and things like that. So for example, let's take a look at this deck, my 4.1 Mega Knight Ram Rider deck. Now, of course, I did not start out with the Mega Knight, the Ram Rider, the Firecracker, or the Little Prince. Those cards were added to my deck later on. But for cards like the Fireball, Witch, Skeleton Army, and Arrows, I have been upgrading those cards since I was less than 2,000 trophies. They have been staples in my deck forever. And even with the Little Prince, I had the Archer Queen in my deck before I put him in, but because I've had him in the deck for almost a year now since he came out, I've been able to get him to level 13 at a decently fast rate. Now, of course, looking at my other card levels, they don't really compare. There's a lot of level 9s, level 10s, there's even some level 1s in here as well, and that's just because you just need to focus on one deck. And another tip that kind of builds off of focusing on one deck is the fact that you need to be smart about the cards that you use in your deck. The Clash Royale meta can be pretty volatile sometimes, meaning that a lot of cards may be good for 1 or 2 months, but then the next month they may be trash based on some balance changes, you know? So with this being the case, it's important to build your deck around cards that I consider nerf proof. This basically means that no matter the situation, these cards are going to be good for the most part. Like Fireball and Arrows as spells, they are pretty much always going to be good just because of how they are fundamentally, you know? Something like the Mega Knight is always going to be good just because it has insane defensive potential and then counter push potential as well. The one card in my deck that I really wouldn't consider to be nerf proof, I would say it would be the Little Prince, because the card design of the Little Prince is just so weird and kind of hard to balance that you really never know whether or not the Little Prince is going to be nerfed again. Since I've had him in the deck, he's been nerfed like 5 separate times and he's still a solid card, but you really never know. But I still love him. I just think he's a good card. So you might be thinking, what are some other nerf-proof cards? Well, let me show you. Here are 8 more that I think are pretty safe to go with. And then here are 8 more as well. I especially recommend the Hog Rider and the Valkyrie. I used these cards a lot before I got the Mega Knight and the Ram Rider, and they are just 2 really solid cards that you cannot go wrong with. So to summarize, focus on one deck. Make sure those cards in your deck are nerf proof, so that way if they do get nerfed, you won't have to swap out another card and then focus on upgrading that card and then get behind on your progression. All right, the next thing I want to emphasize, and I want to emphasize this a lot, and that is that if you really want to maximize your progression, you need to be playing this game every single day of your life. Now, I know that may sound kind of hard, but it really isn't. On a daily basis, there are certain things that you need to do. Number 1, make sure you do all of your quests so that way you get your lucky drop every single day. Lucky drops are an incredibly important part of progression. Now, even though on most days you're going to get a common or you're going to get a rare, on those days where you do get an epic or a legendary, it makes it all worth it. The only reason why I have 5 level 15 cards as a free-to-play player is because of lucky drops and getting 50,000 elite wild cards through legendary drops. Now, on those days where I got those drops, if I wasn't playing, then I would have missed out on so much progression and leveling up my cards by a lot. So please do your lucky drops. Second thing you need to be doing, you need to be doing your 1,000 season tokens every single day. Now, most of the time, this won't take too much, maybe 2 to 3 games at most. And you have a lot of varieties in terms of how you can do it. You can do 1v1, you can do 2v2, you can do the special event game mode. There's a lot of ways in which you can get your season tokens. And season tokens are very important because of the season shop, and we will talk about the season shop shop a little bit later. You also need to be logging in every day to check the item shop and stuff. Of course, you do get a daily freebie every single day, and while it isn't a lot, it is still progression. This gold chest right here, while not giving me a lot, it is still more progression than what I had before, and that stacks up over a period of months and years. Then also, if there's a card that you're looking to upgrade, see if it is in the shop over here. And the next reason you need to log in and play every single day is because Clash Royale has been doing a lot of these special events recently. The most recent example was one where you could choose a free card evolution, and then along with that, there were daily rewards that you could get along the way, and that was awesome. And you know, maybe you weren't logging in every day, maybe you were just taking a break. You could have missed out on choosing a free evolution of your choice. And then the last reason is because of the Pass Royale. Now, even if you're free to play and you can't get the Diamond Pass or the Gold Pass, there are still the crown chests that you need to maximize every single month. And then also the pass has season tokens on it as well, which goes towards the season shop, which is just even more progression. And really, when looking at it, you can do all of this if you just play for like 15 to 20 minutes a day. It really isn't that much of a commitment. You know, maybe when you get home from school or when you get home from soccer practice or whatever, just sit down, relax, play Clash Royale for a few minutes a day, and you can get a lot of progression out of that. Or you can be like me and do it while you're in class. Actually, don't do that. Stay in school and be good, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is a little bit interesting, and it's probably something that you've never heard before. But my recommendation is once you hit 5,000 trophies, you need to split your focus between the trophy road and the Path of Legends. And also there is the Goblin Queen's journey as well. But I'll be honest, I know a lot of people don't really enjoy the Goblin Queen's journey, so I'm not going to say you have to do it. But with Trophy Road and Path of Legends, I definitely recommend that you split your focus between these two. So of course the Trophy Road, you know, especially once you hit 5,000 trophies, the rewards get really good. The first like really awesome reward you get is an Executioner's Kitchen, where you get this champion chest. And then the rewards only get better with more champion chests, giant chests, wild cards, and great stuff like that. So definitely be sure to do the Trophy Road and gradually work your way up, because there's really no downside to it. However, the Path of Legends is super important as well. And the main reason for this is because the rewards will reset every single month. So on a monthly basis, be sure to push as high as you can, and then those rewards will reset, so that way you can do it all over again and get the same rewards. And the biggest rewards I'm looking at here are these elite wildcards. Even if every season you only push midway to Challenger 3, that's still 5,000 elite wildcards right there, and then 2,500 more elite wildcards right there. That is 7,500 elite wildcards just for playing the game. Now I know Path of Legends definitely can be a little bit more challenging with the card level caps and the step system and all of that, but then that goes back to our other points of this is why you need to focus on one deck and make sure your deck is nerf proof, so that way you can progress on the Path of Legends even easier. See, it all connects back. I'm just the free-to-play wizard. It's all cyclical, all right? And then also, if you're a grinder and you go past Master and stuff, that's just even more elite wildcards. There's a legendary wildcard, a champion wildcard for Master 2, and the rewards just get better and better the higher you go. And if you can hit Ultimate Champion every single season, then yeah, you're getting a lot of elite wildcards, and the progression here is just awesome. Now, I don't expect all of you to get the Ultimate Champion. I have only done it once myself, and I will probably never do it again because it made me want to rip my hair out. But yeah, while the Trophy Road is important and while those rewards are good, the Path of Legends rewards are renewable. So definitely be sure to capitalize on them as much as possible. And so for this next tip, I am going to give you a complete guide for season tokens and how you should spend them. I am of the personal belief that season tokens are the most valuable resource in the game for free-to-play players. And I also believe the season shop is one of the better recent additions from Clash Royale. It was added in March 2023 with the Pass Royale rework, and even though it has gotten nerfed a little bit in terms of what it offers, it is still an amazing resource. So for the season shop, what should you buy? The number one thing you should get, even if you do nothing else, you need to get the Wild Shard every single month. This can be used towards any evolution of your choice, and it is just a super valuable resource in this game that you can never have too many of. The second thing you should always get is the book. I don't care what rarity the book is, whether it's common or legendary, you should always get the book in the shop. Books are a super valuable resource, especially if you're upgrading a card from level 13 to level 14. This rare book will just get me that upgrade almost instantly, right? And even if you're not in a position where you actively need rare books like me, because the only rare I use in my deck is level 14, it's still a super valuable resource. I mean, I'm still probably going to get the book and then use it on my Hog Rider, just so that way I can have a level 13 Hog Rider in case I ever do need it. Then after you get those two things, the wild shard and the book, it then all kind of depends on your personal need. For example, if you really want the evolved wizard, yes, you should absolutely get as many evolved wizard shards as possible. If I'm not mistaken here, you can get 3 evolved wizard shards. Of course, they scale up in price and season tokens, and then you can get 1 wild shard as well, and that's 4 shards towards an evolved wizard. That's pretty good. That's 2/3 of the way there. But say you don't want the evolved wizard, then there's really no reason to waste season tokens on those evo shards. And if that's the case, then if there's any other cards here that you use, then definitely get those. So for this season in particular, we have Wizard, P.E.K.K.A, and Mega Knight all in the season shop. Now, I know for a fact that across ladder, these cards are widely used and widely loved by a majority of the community. So definitely get these cards with your season tokens if you don't have them already at level 14. And I mean, that applies to literally any other card as well. Zap, Bats, Battle Ram, Void, Bandit. Get the cards that you need. All right, so let's say you have the wild shard, you have the book, you have your Evo wizard shards, or you decide not to buy them, and then you have the other cards that you need to get maxed out. Then what do you do with the rest of them? Well, it's simple. You buy the gold. That's what you do. The gold is the absolute last resort. Do not buy it unless you absolutely don't need anything else. And then yeah, with banner tokens, sure, you can get them. I mean, banners are fun. I'm not gonna tell you to not have fun with cosmetics in this game, because cosmetics are a big part of the game. And if there's something that you want to try and get, then by all means, try and get it. But if you really absolutely want to maximize your progression, then you should not spend a single season token on banner tokens. Just don't do it. If you really do want banner tokens that bad, then just grind masteries. All right, so next up, I'm going to teach you how to spend your gems. Now, gems are a really interesting resource because they can be used for basically anything. I mean, you can go to the shop, you can buy elite wild cards, you can buy chests right here. Sometimes there are card offers for gems. You can buy emotes, you can buy gold. There's so many things you can use gems for. But if you want to maximize your progression, there is only one thing you should spend your gems on, and that is with global tournaments. Of course, when global tournaments are in the game, you can get the bonus rewards for 500 gems after you lose 5 games. And now these bonus rewards, looking at them, they're actually well worth 500 gems. My motto is that if you get at least 10 wins and can get to that legendary king's chest, then 500 gems is absolutely worth it. I mean, if we go back to the shop, the legendary king's chest is valued at 2,500 gems, and to be able to get one over here for 500 gems, yeah, that's some value. And then of course, along the way, you also get wild cards, you get an epic chest, and you get a giant chest along with a bunch of gold. Then of course, if you get 15 wins, you just get even more wild cards, more gold, and then an extra magical chest at the end. This is definitely the best value for your gems in the game. Now again though, that is if you get 10 wins. If you don't get 10 wins, then I would save them until you can get 10 wins. And I know a lot of you are gonna disagree with me saying not to buy emotes with gems. And if I'm being 100% honest, if there's an emote in the shop that you really just want so bad, by all means, get it. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, 250 gems isn't gonna set you back that much. But once again, if you really want to maximize your progression, then save your gems for the global tournament and make sure that you can get 10 wins. All right, so the last thing I want to share is probably the most underrated part of Clash Royale right now, and it is clans. Being in an active clan is so much more important than you would think, and this is one reason right here, being able to donate and request cards. Of course, you get more cards that you need, And when you donate cards, you get XP as well. And that XP gradually accumulates over time towards your level up chests. And then when you get high enough level, you get evolution shards there as well. Then I also think trade tokens have kind of become underrated. They were added in the game back in 2018, and back then they were a really big deal, but they've kind of been slept on ever since. But again, trade tokens are a great tool. If there's a card that you need, you can offer up your other cards in exchange and then get that card. And then the biggest thing I want to touch on with clans is clan wars. Now, I know there's a lot of people that don't really enjoy Clan Wars 2, and I'll be honest, I feel you. It definitely is not the best Clan War system, but there is a lot of progression that you can get from here. Another thing I forgot to mention is the trader. The trader is in Clan Wars, but it's also in the item shop. You can use your trade tokens here as well and get more cards, so that's pretty cool. But then looking at the other stuff for Clan Wars, I mean, you can play games and get gold just for playing games. Like for winning a duel, that's 2,100 gold for me. And that may not seem like a lot initially, but that stacks up over time. If you do all of your battles on the training days and then do all of your battles during the normal war days, that's a lot of gold that you can get on a weekly basis. And then if you're in a clan that gets first or second place on a weekly basis, these chests are pretty dang good. I mean, look at the rewards for this chest. You get almost 10,000 gold, 9 epics, 78 rares, and a guaranteed legendary, and that is on a weekly basis if you finish in first place. Really, if you're not doing Clan Wars, you are missing out on a lot of progression. I mean, seriously. Now, one thing I will say about Clan Wars is that it can be difficult with card levels and stuff. I know earlier I mentioned to focus on one deck, and by doing that, it does kind of limit your options with Clan Wars. But even if you don't win all of your Clan War battles because you have underleveled cards, you will still get progress towards your clan and still get stuff from doing duels and stuff during the training battles as well. So just by doing Clan Wars, you don't even have to win. You will still get progression out of it. All right. And then if you're in an active clan, your clan members can pick up the slack as well. Of course, my clan, we have 50 out of 50 members. And even though we have a few ones that are inactive, most people are active. Most people do wars, and they make up for the other people that can't necessarily compete in terms of card levels. And I'll be completely honest, I think that's pretty much everything. In terms of being a free-to-play player, there's definitely a lot more that you have to pay attention to and a lot more that you have to do to optimize and maximize your progression. And I hope this video gave you a nice foundation and blueprint to go with. And then also, if you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, be sure to subscribe as well. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. And that's going to be it for me with this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.